Thank you for the introduction, Regal. And today, Sarah and I are going to talk about the essentials for emergency preparedness. And basically, this is a brand new topic for me. So my disclaimer is I wanted to learn about this. And so I said, I'm going to teach a class about emergency preparedness because then it'll force me to learn a little bit about it. So I read a couple books. My favorite one is this one. It's called Be Prepared, Not Scared. And so basically, I'm giving you a book report of a couple books that I read. And also, I want to encourage you to read and have a resource book like this at your house because she's got great ideas of in the moment of an emergency, how to do things that I would never know to do if I didn't have that. Okay. I have a record player here because I feel like every time I teach, I'm sort of like a broken record about like, you have to stay healthy, like do everything you can to stay well. And basically what we learned from the pandemic here is that being healthy could actually make the difference between survival or not surviving. So we learned that healthy people handle the virus way better than people that have a lot of pre-existing conditions. And that the truth of the matter is that any emergency that we walk into, if we walk into an emergency healthy, we're going to fare better. So if we're out kind of working towards getting in a healthy weight, if we could like work with a functional medicine doctor and get off medicines so that we're only using our oils and that's all we need. We're going to stay hydrated always because you don't want to be dehydrated and then be stuck in an emergency. You want to keep your body strong. So the recommendation for exercise is that you have 120 minutes a week of vigorous exercise. So we want to make sure that we're doing that. And also 2 days a week of resistance training to keep your muscles strong so that in an emergency, well, for always good health, but in an emergency, you're able to lift and pull and carry and hold that backpack and walk a long distance if you needed to. Living a healthy lifestyle, like getting good sleep, managing your stress is majorly important. If you have a good practice of breathing and meditation and relaxation, and you know how to get yourself from that fight or flight down to homeostasis, this is going to be a huge benefit for you in an emergency. Not only will it help you stay calm, but you'll be able to teach that and help people around you to stay calm. All right, what is an emergency exactly? It's something you haven't planned for and involves consequences or struggle. And we're going to talk about emergencies today, the rule of threes. Basically, you have 3 minutes that you can go without air before you either drown or asphyxiate. You have 3 hours that you can be exposed to extreme weather before you would die of exposure. You have 3 days that you can go without water. And then you have 3 weeks that you can go without food. So you can remember the rule of threes. So we'll break this down a little bit. So I promise we'll talk about essential oils here too. Sarah's going to follow that up, but I'm just giving you an overview of emergency preparedness here. So basically, fires and being submerged in water would be the 2 most common reasons why you deal with the asphyxiation issue. If you had a fire start in your home, like literally you only have 3 minutes to get out of that house, get entire family out of that house. So it's really important to have an escape plan, have a meeting place where your family's going to gather, who's getting the pets, so that no one's staying behind and left in the house. You want to make sure that you're testing your smoke detectors regularly. And also, we're really prone to carbon monoxide with our super sealed houses these days. My house is not particularly super sealed, but when you are using a heat source, you want to ventilate, have that ventilation if you have your gas stove on. And then you can have a tool to break the car in the window. So like what I mean by submerged in water is a car going off the road and maybe being in a flood situation or being in a stream situation and the car is filling up. How would you get out of the car? I know that Damsel in Defense sells a a mechanism to break the car door, any sharp object could break the car door, or if you can't get the door open, if the car fills totally with water, then the air pressure will lock and you'll be able to open the door easily, but you don't want to have to wait till that time. So these are some examples of emergencies. Exposure. So in Colorado, I think about being stuck in your car in a snowstorm. You know, this could happen to any of us. Or, you know, hiking and all of a sudden a storm comes in or something like that. So you want to always have a way to keep warm. Keep a car emergency kit in your car, and I'm going to talk about what is going to be in that kit in a little bit. Use flares or a mirror for communication. So flares are really easy for people to see, and mirrors are surprisingly, like if you were in a ditch or something and you had a mirror and you could shine it on car lights, it's surprisingly effective to get people's attention. So those are examples of things that you'd have in your kit. And then layer your body with as many layers as possible. And then if you're in extreme heat, you would want to find shelter immediately. Okay, dehydration. So most people think about food when they think about storing things. They don't think about water. But water, you only have how much time do you have with water? Do you guys remember? 3 days. Yeah. So you can't go very long. You can go way longer, 3 weeks without food. So each household requires at least 1.5 gallons a day through your emergency. So kind of keep that in mind. You need to be storing up water. In a prolonged emergency, you might need to learn how to find the hidden water in your home. For example, your water heater is filled with water. And do you know how to drain that? And could you drain all the water in your pipes from the top of your house down to collect more water? And that is another great reason to have a resource like this, because she talks about how to access that hidden water in an emergency. You can also buy these 5-gallon drums 50-gallon drums that you can keep on a concrete surface in the basement or in your garage or something. And that's highly recommended to do that based on both of these books that I read. So if an emergency disrupts the ground, like for example, an earthquake or a flood, then you immediately want to turn off your water supply into your home, because I didn't know this, but wastewater can come into your house from other people, you know, as the sewers are flooded. So you can get sewer water and wastewater and all this junk in your home if you don't know how to turn off your water supplies. That's an important thing to know how to do. If possible, you want to fill up your bathtub with water before you turn off the water supply to your home, just as an extra source of water for you. And then you want to have a way to filter and purify your water. So I learned something new here. The difference between a filter is that it strains out particles. The difference between a purifier is that it chemically kills the bacteria in the water. So you really need both. And I know my kids have something called a smart straw. I think I wrote it down here. A life straw. A life straw is like a cup that you can put your water in, and it filters both and purifies at the same time. In a pinch, you could use your t-shirt to filter water, but you would need like a water tablet to kill the bacteria in the water, ideally. Okay, starvation. So even though it takes 3 weeks for you to, without food to die of starvation, if you have food, it's going to decrease your stress a ton. It's going to help you stay strong and think clearly. And the ideal recommendation is that you have food that you already eat. So you're not just buying this crazy food, storage food for your short-term emergency. You want to have at least, at a very minimum, 3 weeks of food stored up in your house, and at the and up to 3 months of just regular food that you would eat. And then you want to also have some long-term storage food. So the process is, if the power was off and you were having an emergency, maybe there was a flood or something was going on, you would eat the food in your refrigerator first so that it didn't go bad and spoil. You would keep your freezer closed, and then that would turn into like a refrigerator for you. So it would last a few days if it was closed. And then you would eat the food in your freezer, and then you would move to your canned and other prepared foods that you had. And then there's something called Scotch broth, which I learned this, I didn't know. I picture like having flour and oats and like bags and bags of food all over my house, storing food for the long term. But then I wonder, if I don't have gas, how am I going to cook? If the oven's not working, how am I going to make a cake or bread or something? So their suggestion is to make this combination called Scotch broth. And basically it is rice, barley, kidney beans, lentils, black beans, split peas, chickpeas, and dried bouillon, and then any spices that you have on hand. And you get a big drum, like a 5-gallon drum, and you combine the beans in the bottom. You store the rice and the barley separately because they cook at a different time. And then you're going to add your bouillon separately as well. And then you all store that in a 5-gallon drum, and that will keep for years and years and years. And so that is something, rice and beans is something that you could live off of for a very long time. So that was their suggestion for long-term food storage. The strategy is to, every time you go to the store, just buy a little bit more of what you normally eat. So instead of buying 2 cans of tuna for you, buy 4 and put 2 aside into your storage. And you might have to get creative to where you're storing your food, where in your house, but it definitely needs to be in a cool, dry place. And then purchasing hybrid seeds and sprouting seeds are a good strategy too. However, if you don't know how to garden at all, the time to learn is now. Like everyone should have some basic gardening skills, how they can grow things, even if it's just in containers out on your back porch. And then sprouting seeds is really easy. But if you have never done it, try it first, because having some sprouted seeds with your Scotch broth, you could live a year. Like you could really sustain yourself in a healthful way for a very long time if you had to. Okay, so what about those kits? We all heard about the people trapped in the tunnel, in the Eisenhower Tunnel. Did you guys hear about this? Okay, so there's a mudslide on the way to Glenwood Springs, and they were trapped for 24 hours, or maybe a little less than 24 hours in the tunnel, all these cars. And so this is an example of a reason why it would be really good to have some things in our car prepared for emergency. And of course, again, in Colorado, we could easily slide off the road in a snowstorm and, you know, be in a snow bank, and we would need this too. But basically, a car kit would have a fire starter, and I purchased a fire starter. I couldn't work it, you know, so practice now before you actually need it. I had to have my kids, my 13-year-old showed me how to use it, but you know, make sure that you know how to use it before you need it. And then Mre Food is the military standard. It's like that freeze-dried food you can get at Jack's or whatever. So you want to have some of that in your little car kit. Those water purification tablets that I talked about, because you might need to collect water off of a car or off of a building, or, you know, off of some dirt covered whatever. You can filter it through your t-shirt and a blanket or something, but you would want to put purification tablets in there before you drink it. An emergency space blanket to keep you warm. Your essential oil first aid kit, of course, to keep you calm and to address any other needs that you have. Toilet paper, you'd want to have some type of multi-tool. And again, that multi-tool could be used to break the window if you had to get out of your car. A car shovel, and I've never thought of having a car shovel in my car, and I have been kind of stuck in a snowdrift before, so I definitely think that's a great idea. A fix-a-flat kit, again, like maybe watching a YouTube video on how to use it before you actually are in the moment and need it. And then radio with batteries, so if your phone goes dead, you can still kind of keep track of the news. Hand warmers are really important because you can use them in your feet, your hands, you can move them around your body, keep yourself, your core warm. And then granola bars or any other high protein, fast, easy food that you could have in there. A small flashlight and batteries, compass and thermometer, mirror and flares again to track attention, a pocket knife and water, a bottle or box. Have you guys seen this boxed water now? Have you guys seen this? This makes me so happy because I hate bottled water because I don't want to buy plastic all the time. But now you can buy a big box of boxed water. Okay. Then another kit that you want to think about is a 72-hour kit. And this is something that you want to pack in a backpack that's just at your home that you could easily just grab and go. Okay. So this would have protein, granola bars, trail mix, dried fruit, canned tuna and an opener for the tuna, maybe some beef jerky. Candy, they say like have lifesavers or something like that to keep your blood sugar up. And then again, some MRE meals that you could eat on the go. Clothes you would pack at the last minute as you're leaving based on the weather and what's going on and how many people you're serving with your pack. You'd want a microfiber blanket, you'd want gloves, hats, hand warmers again in there, and then some basic silverware, a small flashlight, a glow stick, garbage bags. Garbage bags can be used to collect water. They can be used to protect you from rain, you know, if you wear it, and they can also be used to keep your heat in. You're in your blanket, and then you can use a garbage bag to, you know, seal you up to keep that heat in. Radio with batteries, first aid kit with your oils, a hygiene kit, and then again, water, bottled or boxed. I'm gonna let Sara take it from here.
Brilliant. Thank you. So when we talk about all these different things and what could possibly happen right now in our everyday or when you're out and about, car trips, hiking, any of that things, unfortunately, those of us on the western edge of the United States understand how quickly the air quality can dip with our fires, smog, pollution, all of those types of things. A lot of things that Julie mentioned, the extreme heat and cold, scrapes, bruises, burns, those can happen anytime. We can be walking to our mailbox barefoot or kids can fall. The unclean environment and water definitely is a big one that we've talked about. And the emotional tolls is something that Julie kind of touched on, but those during a disaster, an emergency or something unexpected, it really stresses our systems, our immune systems, our mental health, our stress reactions. Lockdowns can happen, as we know. Excessive running or walking might be needed if there was something major happening. And we all know that, you know, you can run out of toilet paper. So clearly we've got some things to prepare for. So what oils, where are we with the oils and creating an emergency kit? So on the next slide, we have a list of oils. Oh, there we go, to have on hand. And on the left side, or my left side, we have 6 oils that I think a lot of people are very, very familiar with. So peppermint is going to help us stay cool. So those extreme heats, any sort of burns, whether it's on your skin or there's too much sun, and digestive support. So it'll be good for anything up here and anything down below. It can also be combined with other oils like the lemon, lavender, and peppermint combination for any seasonal threats. Anything that's in the air that's bothering you, if you have to go stay with someone else who might have animals that bother you, those are 3 that you'll want to combine together. Lavender, very calming to the skin as far as inflammation. It's very calming to the emotions. Bug bites is one that lavender is amazing for. So any type of bug bite, we just put a straight drop of lavender on it, on me and my kids, and it helps that right away. You never know kind of when you're walking through or trekking through, or I know Rigo mentioned I love hiking, so that's definitely a big one for us that's always in our kit. And then again, the inflammation. A lot of these oils are really good for that anti-inflammatory property. Lemon is going to be very cleansing, and adding it to your water is going to give you a really good benefit of helping that water stay cleansed and maybe making you want to drink a little bit more. It also is going to help that way internally with the digestive support and health. I know most of us probably aren't used to eating MREs or things like that that we might need in an emergency. And so that's definitely in combination with the peppermint going to really help your digestive tract stay on track while your stress reactions and hormones and adrenalines are going. It's like our second brain, so we do need to watch that as well. We all know how
I was going to also say that those tablets that you put in the water to purify taste really not very good. So by adding the oils to the water, it's really going to help with the taste of the oil too, or the water.
And I know I drink more when I put oils in my waters too. And oregano, we all know, is great for anything kind of infectious, whether it's internal or external. It's also one of those spicy warming oils. So if you're feeling a little chilly, diluting it and kind of rubbing it on your hands, it helps reduce the yeast and kind of balance any kind of yeast reactions if we're out and we can't get a shower, or if we're stuck in the mudslides or in a tunnel. That can definitely become an issue. And it's great immune support. So we know that the oils are great in our immune system. And the number one thing that tends to take a second backseat to an emergency is ourselves and our immune systems. So really important to keep that up so that you can keep healthy and strong during the emergency. Tea tree oil in the same way is very great for the immune support, great on bug bites. It's a great cleanser both internally and externally. And it's great for any sort of foot infection or that athlete's foot, things if you're walking around, if your socks are dirty. Using that's going to help keep your feet clean, which is going to help you keep moving as well. And then frankincense, the king of all oils, it definitely amplifies all of the other oils. It's very soothing. It's also very cleansing. And so those 6 oils are fairly familiar. Those are always, always, always in our kits, always in our house. We always have a backup of those oils no matter what. And on this right-hand side are some others that you may not have thought about to have on hand. When we talk about helichrysum, we talk about how it's kind of that liquid Band-Aid. So anything with a scrape or a bruise, swelling, bleeding, it's going to be really good to that area to help clean it out and help control that bleeding and swelling so that you can keep moving and keep going and not get sick. Lemongrass actually surprised me. I read a couple different places that it helps warm the feet in the winter. It's not one I would have thought about for any reason. So I added this to my list, and there, if you notice, there are 11 oils, not 10. And so it can be, you have to kind of pick and choose what would be the most important, but lemongrass can also be very cleansing in and out, and it helps with cramping muscles. So again, if you're out on foot, if you have to be walking around, if you're, physically stressed, that's really going to help your body a little bit more. Rosemary is another one that's really good at keeping you alert. It's one that I have found in the last few years that helped support my brain support and keeping me clear and thinking straight. And okay, what do I need to do next? And how do I get motivated? And how do I keep myself calm in order to help everyone else? But it's also a great anti-inflammatory and cleansing to the body as well. So it's it's hitting all those areas as well. Clove is another one that cleans toxins from the bodies. It's really good also for any nausea and some constipation issues. Again, those MREs and that sometimes what's in your water can kind of mess you up a little. It's great for pain management and immune support. So we know that it's one of those major ingredients in the On Guard blend for those reasons. It's also one of those kind of spicier oils, so it can actually help keep you warm too. And then myrrh was not one I had thought about. That's not one I usually keep around too often, but it helps promote circulation. So again, if you're getting cold, you can use that to help the circulation in your body, any sort of inflammation, bruising, uncomfortableness. And then you can also drop it directly into cuts to help cleanse it and support the healing of the tissues around it. And myrrh also promotes cell regeneration. So it can really get you going on that path very much more quickly. So these are 11. And I kind of asterisk the On Guard, the Breathe, and the Adaptive down here at the bottom, because those are ones that personally, outside of emergency, I always have those. But if you notice, a lot of these oils are the oils in those blends. And so the one thing that you'll notice about the bulleted blends here, or the bulleted oils here, is that all of them can be taken aromatically. All of them can be used aromatically. They can be taken internally and topically. Whereas the Breathe, probably don't want to eat it. The Adaptive, you don't want to eat it unless you have the capsule, things like that. And so they have multiple uses in multiple modalities. You can use them in all different ways. And so one of the things that we do, and I know Regal mentioned we hike and we camp all the time. When we camp, I don't take a little tiny keychain. I don't know if you guys can see it. Those keychains with the tiny little vials in them. This is what we take hiking. It's condensed, it's small, and we put 8 oils in these. There's not a space for 10 or 11 or all of them that I would love to take. And the ones that we take are the 6 on the side here, and I add helichrysum to it, and I usually add deep blue to it, just for the hiking purposes, not for any sort of emergency. It's more comfort. And so pick and choose kind of what you have on hand, what you like to use, and different things that you can come up with to make it fit into this, or buy a smaller kit. You can get them online and Aroma Tools. I have a wallet that I keep roller balls in, and take more with you, more places. But these are really good to keep in that car kit. They're really good to keep in the 72-hour backpack. Just remember to switch them out sometimes. So just like your food, if you buy 4 cans of tuna to save 2, next time you go to buy 4, make the old 2 the ones you use first, and vice versa, and just switch them out so that they can keep their therapeutic benefits to you guys. And so when we talk else about, on the next slide, with why are we going to use doTerra, we all know how amazing the company is with everything anyway. And I wanted to touch a little bit on the CPTG standards, so the Certified Pure Tested Grade. When you look for essential oils, we all know that the product matters, right? So you want to look for plant quality. You want to look for how the company is producing their oils. You want to look for how are they testing their oils. Many companies don't even test their oils, which is a scary thought. And then how do they store and handle their oils? Those are kind of the 4 things to look for when buying essential oils. And doTerra is very open door, clear, open book about how they do it. So this is the test that they do on the oils. They do this through 3 different stages of the oils. Looking at some of these names, I kind of went blank, honestly. I have no idea what, I don't know what mass spectrometry is or any of that sort of thing. So I wanted to go through it a little bit, and I did in my 3rd grade level, like, what does this mean kind of idea. I went through all of these. So organoleptic testing is the very first thing they do with everything. And so does it look right? Does it smell right? Does it taste right? And does it feel right? And so we can go to a tree and pick an apple, and immediately we're going to know by looking at it, smelling it, seeing it, is it going to be okay? And so that's one of the first things they do. Is this what it normally should look like, taste like, smell like? And then they move on to microbial testing. So is there anything else in this that may have contaminated the oil? Which seems like common sense, right? Everybody should be looking at what's contaminating their things. And then gas chromatography, which talks about which compounds are in this sample that they have. So what actually constitutes, what's making up this sample that we have. And then mass spectrometry looks at how are those compounds composited? So how are they put together? The second one, the FTIR, because I'm not even going to try to butcher that name, is it the consistency and potency correct to our standards? And so based on all of the testing they've done throughout the years, is this testing the same that it's been over the years? And then the chirality testing is, are there any synthetic properties in the sample? And so the best way that it got explained to me, I think at convention once, was we could have the same components, but they have to be built the same way. So I can have 4 blocks that my son built, and I can build 4 blocks. But if I have 2 yellows on the bottom and his yellows are on the top, they're going to be different compounds. Well, they have the same things, they're just in different places. So that's what that tells them, is they need the same things in the same places. And then the isotropic analysis is which isotopes and how many are there in the sample. So isotopes are when you get too many neutrons, or not too many, but you have a number of neutrons in a different way, like you would see carbon-12 and carbon-16s and things. Are they there, and are they in the right places? So it goes a lot with the chirality testing, which I'm sure I'm butchering that name too. So where are they? How many are they? And are they in the right spot? And then the final testing they go through is heavy metal testing. So we all know how detrimental heavy metals can be in our bodies and in our environment. And so that's something that's very important to them, to make sure that they're not adding to that weight, because it's all around us. There's no way to escape it, but there is a way to mitigate it and not ingest it, not use it around yourself or in your body. And so that's why doTerra, and we all know how great doTerra can be with their testing and their open books. And they really have a whole team, multiple teams devoted to this testing facility. So, and so that's what I have for you guys. And then next, this month, we do have some great promos, so you can start to build up your supplies or asking people. So this month we get a free Motivate roller ball with your LRP order. LRP is our loyalty rewards program. And so that's when, if you order before the 15th of the month with a 125 point value order or more, you get a free Motivate automatically. So it's free product, which is great. And then your LRP points build up to get more free product. So it's a win-win. And this month you're going to save 15% on spearmint. And so spearmint is great for mental clarity, confident speech, digestive support, fresh breath. And I had no idea it was great for menstrual cramps. So I'll have to add that to my arsenal here. If you're not a peppermint fan, or peppermint worries you with some nursing concerns with some moms, spearmint's a great alternative as well. And then new members, they extended that doTerra dollars. So you get 50 free points to use on doTerra products if you enroll. And then the limited time offers down here are the back to school immune support with that harvest spice, which is, it's like that potpourri we used to have as kids that our parents burned on the stove, but like, you know, natural and not bad for you. So throwing that in the diffuser has been amazing in the falls. And then that stronger blend is the kids version of On Guard. And my kids love that in the roller ball. They've just been like, that's their thing. The red one and the purple one are their favorites. And then if we look to what's coming up, we of course have convention in September, but we also have another class on September 2nd. Right back here, Animals Love Oils Too. Our lovely Teresa is going to help us with that. She is an amazing teacher with the oils and the animals. We do have doTerra convention coming up, and Regal, I'm not sure, but I think there are still tickets left. You can go in person or virtually. So you can go to the doTerra website and look at that. It's not just for those of us building a business. It's for everybody. There's so much education and product education. It blows me away every time. Every time I go, I get so many different things. And then I know that Regal posted on our Oil Up Facebook page that Symphony of the Cells trainings are coming to 4 different cities throughout September and October. So check that out. Symphony of the Cells, we did a class on it a few months back. It's a great protocol to help for anything to maintain some health or to get you kind of out of a rut. So thank you guys so much. And Jolie and I are open and for questions. If you guys have any, we'd love to answer them.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies. I learned a ton. And Jolie, I think I was most intrigued about that Scotch broth. So you just mix that up and you keep it, you said up to 5 years?
Right. So you put all the beans on the bottom of a 5-gallon container, the food safe container that you can buy, and then put the rice separately in Ziploc bags in serving sizes for your family, so that because you're going to cook the rice separately and the barley is separate too, and then the bouillon separate, so that way you can just take a scoop of the mixed beans and cook it. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great idea.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, there's lots of recipes. It looks like you can make a tester batch and then mix it up. So I'm going to look into that. That's intriguing to me. We have tons of rice and beans, but I never thought of making it taste better. There's also, I'm going to show you the water bottle I have. You talked about the life straws, which are really great. I think you can even drink out of a puddle. And then I'll show you my Nalgene filter. It's a company based in Boulder, And you can use this to filter any type of water, but it's designed for hiking. So I take it when we hike and I use the stream water. I take it when I travel and filter out the fluoride and different city water. So I'm going to grab it just a
Right. And I also wanted to show you, I bought, I don't know, one of the oil websites, but it does take 10 essential oils, Sarah, so you can take all of your favorite ones. And then I put like Band-Aids and some little wipes in here, you know, antiseptic wipes and stuff so that I can have my oils and sort of first aid kit all in one when I go hiking. So
That's brilliant. We have a bigger first aid kit with bandages, but that's brilliant. I like that.
That's a good tip. Yeah, this is that water bottle. I think it's called Epic Water Filters, and they're just based out of Boulder, which is really great. So
cool.
and
Thank you.
then at home we use a Berkey. I know some other people here have a Berkey. I know Teresa, you have one, and that's just our everyday water filter thing. You can use even rainwater. You could use hot tub water. I've even heard rumors that you can change wine into water. I haven't tested that. I don't know, but that's a really nice filter for everyday use and then emergency use too, if you're going to be in your home.
Yeah. Good. I would love to learn from you guys if there's anything you're doing emergency prepared wise that we could learn from, because I'm new at this too. Or maybe you're all like me where you think I should do that, but you haven't taken steps yet. So anyway, I encourage you. I mean, I think that's a COVID sort of a wake-up call of, oh, crazy things do happen. We can be prepared and, you know, be smart.
I have sprouting seeds. This is like the one thing that I learned. Well, I'd learned it before the lockdowns, but I got really good at it during that when we would go to the grocery store and there would be no fresh greens or produce. And so you can get sprouting seeds. Broccoli sprouting seeds are supposed to be one of the most nutritious, and they're super easy. Even if you don't know how to garden, you basically go from seed to table in less than a week. And you put these in a jar, you rinse out your seeds twice a day, morning and night, just rinse them off so they can germinate and they don't get any funk on them. And then you'll see them start to sprout within a few days, and just keep rinsing them. And then when you're ready to green them up, just put them in a windowsill, and in one day they'll turn from white to green, and they're really, really good. So that's what I use.
Do you throw those in your smoothie, Regal, or how do you eat those? Just put them on top of your salads?
I eat them I make their own salad. They're so fresh tasting that I'll make its own little salad and do a little avocado oil or olive oil, and then maybe just a few sprinkles of a seasoning. And they're just so good, plain. And then I think it's in my dishwasher, but you can get little screens that fit on top of your regular mason jar and just rinse that. You don't need a fancy sprouter system. They'll sell tons of sprouter systems. I have one, but actually I use my jar way more often. But yeah, low investment, really nutritious, and they're tasty.
Where do you purchase yours?
These come from Happy Pantry. They have all sorts of different seeds and sprouting. These are the broccoli seeds. They also have a 3 salad mix and a 5 salad mix, which has different variety that are designed to be consumed as a salad. But I like the broccoli ones the best.
Cool. I started putting them on my sandwiches as well, or burgers, or anything. I mean, I've been throwing them on everything and anything.
Yeah. And they're really affordable too when you make them yourself. I know when we go to the store, I'm not sure how much they cost anymore for a pint, but probably $5 or more for the little pint. But you can make this whole jar for, I don't know, you're only using like a tablespoon per jar. So this will make quite a few.
Great.
Hey,
And
Regal.
Yeah.
So in terms of overall emergency,
Lenora, you're frozen a little bit. I'm thinking your internet connection might be a little funky, but I can see your face. Maybe if Lenora, the video doesn't come back, if you just type in your question below in the chat box.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yep, there you are.
So almost every municipality offers CERT training, Certified Emergency Response Team. If you want to go a little bit more in depth, I've taken it at Longmont. And
We lost you again, Lenora, but I did hear we can take a CERT training at just about any city, but I did not catch the name of it.
She did one in Longmont, she mentioned, but I do believe most cities have an option for that. And it's CERT.
CERT.
Is the acronym.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you, Lenora, for that tip. And then Jolie, you reminded me that I need to update my car kit. So I used to travel from Fort Collins to Cheyenne every day for work, and it was always snowy and there'd be people on the side of the roads and cars blown over, and I haven't had an emergency kit in my car since then. So thank you for the reminder that it can happen even driving to Glenwood, right, with the Eisenhower tunnel being closed. So
Yeah.
I need to update that. Thank you for those tips. I took pictures.
You're very welcome. Thanks everybody for coming and encouraging me to learn.
All right, any other final questions or comments for these ladies before we sign off for the evening?
I needed to know any of that, and it was so informational, and I have people that I want to say, hey, you should go watch the recording because this was really good. So thank you so much for putting that together.
You're very welcome.
Absolutely. And I'll get this recording posted within 24 hours. Hopefully by tonight it'll be done. I'll post it up.
You rock.
All right, any other last comments, questions? All right, is that a wrap?
That's a wrap.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
right.
We'll see you next month with
Thank you, ladies. That
animal-
was great.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great weekend.
All right. Bye, ladies.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Hi, Rachel. I didn't get to say hi to you earlier.